He's like, video games can't make money. I'm like, Dad, you don't understand. Like, yo, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared because I don't want to fail. You know, you got all these people already doubting you. I can't fail. I don't want to fail. The support that I receive through the community, the support that I'm receiving from them is the reason why I continue to drive to keep this space open.
Lucrative life conversation.
Once you get confident,
Lucrative life conversation.
I've heard people
about anything.
I got two things.
Lucrative life conversation. No matter where you are, your journey. Lucrative life conversation about anything, any subject.
What you mean by that? Yeah, like what you mean by that?
in 3, 5, 4, 2, 1. Welcome back to the 2.5 LLCs podcast. I'm your host, Dre, NWIODING. And in morning, noon, and night, whenever you're listening and hearing this, we appreciate you all. Because without y'all, we're not sitting here today. But further ado, I got my co-host here, Antwon. Say what's happening to the people.
What's happening to the people? What's up?
And as you all know, since we're on our new format, we don't know when this is coming out. This could be the first episode of season 4. This could be the 15th. If we have 15, we don't know. Y'all don't either. But when you get this episode, you will get it. And we have sideline guests in the background. We have Kia.
Yo, what's up? Jumping in, trying to have fun. Got a quick question already from the jump. So you started with 3, then you jumped to 5, then you went down. So why did you not start with 6?
You got to get people on their toes. You got to make sure they're paying attention.
Okay.
And it worked because you asked a question. See? Information.
I just
See?
didn't,
You
I
asked
just
a
didn't
question.
know if you forgot how to count.
Nah, of course not.
Okay. It's an important thing for a music producer to know how to count.
Of course.
Don't count your bars like that. But
Side note, we appreciate y'all once again for being here. And we have a guest in the building. Not only a guest, but our first guest of season 4. Magical claps in the background are happening right now and editing. But we have our first guest season 4. Owner of local Raleigh, North Carolina place, venue, arcade. What else am I missing, if I'm missing anything?
Man, I think you put it in a little nutshell, but we're a vibe, man. I think that's got to be added. When you talk about the Arcade of Thrones, you got to talk about a vibe, because depending on what nights you come in there, you could definitely catch a different vibe.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right. And if you didn't get his name, because he hasn't said it yet, Jordan.
well, I was waiting for you.
I know. I said, no, that's a mess up on my part. I apologize.
You're introducing everyone else.
I
was like,
apologize.
I was
Yeah,
gonna let it
apologize.
ride, but you brought it in there just right.
Yeah, I apologize.
It's in his formation.
no, I'm sorry, you're right.
Look,
We just started.
exactly. Without further ado, I didn't introduce our guest yet, and that's my fault.
It's all good, man.
Jordan of Arcade of Thrones. What's happening,
sir.
man?
Man, nothing much, man. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate being able to be a guest on your show. This is dope. I mean, thank you. But yeah, man, loving life, living life, and trying to make the best of it as we can, and doing it all through, life in the arcade, man, and experiences and people that come across there. That's what I got, man. I try to keep it simple.
Okay, cool. So before we get into the nitty gritty, top 5 games of all time.
Oh, top
we going
five.
around
Oh,
the
he
room?
went fast.
Or you just asking him?
Asking him for right now.
Okay, top 5. I can't say top 5 in any particular order. All right, but top 5 is the Uncharted series. Can it be a series or does it have to be a game?
You have a favorite Uncharted in particular?
Dang. The favorite one was probably the fourth one. I played the fourth one multiple times. I don't know why the fourth one, but the fourth one, Uncharted 4, was probably the best one.
Okay.
God of War. I've played everyone. Actually, right now, I'm trying to finish the last one, Ragnarok.
Okay.
Um, but I've played the first one from the PSP. So I've played every single one. So it's pretty dope to see where it's at now. My favorite one there was the first one.
Okay.
Was the first one. All right, so those are as far as those type of games that. I would say Madden 25. All right, I know that's really weird because Madden has all these years. But for Madden 25, it wasn't just the anniversary year, but it was the year that I think they took the knowledge of the game and tried to implement it. So anyone that wanted to learn the game, like, or try to understand football and the mechanics and the strategies of it, they started to deliver it in the game more. So I thought it made it more susceptible for anyone to want to pick up the game and learn it. All right, so that's 3. Classic Tetris. Yo, you can never, like, Tetris will withstand the test of time forever. Dang, and you said a 5th one. I've played a lot of games. I'd have to say Heavenly Sword. Heavenly Sword was the first game. I think that was an action game that came out for the PlayStation 4, if I remember correctly. Pretty dope. I mean, there's so many other, but if I had to put them, that's definitely 5 of my favorites.
Okay.
I hope that was 5. Was anyone keeping count?
Yeah, that was fine.
All right, okay, I was trying. There's a lot of games out there, man.
Gotcha. All right. In other news, what made you start Arcade of Thrones?
Cool question. All right, so Arcade of Thrones. I mean, well, hell, let's keep it real. My original idea was what Boxcar was. When I was in planning, I was in Wake Tech. I had held on to this idea for a while, and it was like, you need a business plan. You need a business plan. So I'm like, all right, fine. Sign up for a class at Wake Tech, and the lady is like, you need to say what your business plan is. You need to write it down. I'm like, all these people in here trying to do the same thing. Like, I don't want to share my idea. What if someone, takes it and runs with it? So anyway, I started laying it all out. You try not to give too much, but I gave enough. Needless to say, a boxcar was made before I was able to really get money up and do what I needed to do. But my initial idea was to have a bar that had games in it, like video games, because it's not very popular here in the United States. It was popular overseas, UK, China, Japan, very popular. We're the ones that are behind in technology. So I saw them, I'm like, yo, this is going to be dope here. Trying to, explain to some people that I knew, they weren't feeling the vibe. They're like, nah, timing. They're like, that's not popular here. Like, who's into that here? All right. Okay, don't believe me. Anyway, some time went on. I tried to do a pop-up shop, and I was like, well, what can I do that's different from Boxcar? So I started to do a pop-up that was just competitive gaming. So now I'm just, popping up at shops or people that I knew that was like, yo, you let me throw a tournament, whatever the case is. And I did that for a while, and I realized it's hard doing it as a pop-up, so I need to shift over to something different. So I need to look for a physical location after going through that for a while. So I started scouting all the barcades at that time that were in the area. There weren't many. Boxcar was the main one. Level Up was down there, which isn't there anymore, over by the bank, the Wachovia building. It was the Wells Fargo now. But across from that, it was Level Up, which had it upstairs and downstairs. So those were like the 2 big main barcades. So I scouted what they had, and I was like, you know what? There are all these big places. Not everybody's into that. You know what I'm saying? Let me scale it down. So let me make it a little more intimate. And then I was looking at, well, they have these type of games. Well, they don't have all the type of games I would want to put into it. So I started taking out those pieces. And that's basically how Arcade of Thrones was actually formed. And I wanted the name Game of Thrones, but clearly, yeah, I'd get sued out the ass. I wouldn't even stand a chance. I mean, now I'm like, dang, if I would put a Z or did something different, maybe. But so that's how Arcade of Thrones came about. And honestly, it's really here because I enjoy networking with individuals. I told you I was a loudmouth when we started. I talk a lot. but I like to meet other people, and I like people meeting other people. I mean, that's how you're gonna know what you're working with. That's how opportunities happen. That's how you meet people. And that's how we can grow as people. A lot of learning can go on in spaces like that. So that was really the beginning, the start, and what led to Arcade of Thrones being built. I hope I answered your question. I did a lot of talking.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was perfect.
Good.
Hold that 1 second. This mic don't like to stay up, but if you got a question, go ahead and ask. All right.
Well, I got a question. Well, if we're gonna get to how many actual arcade style games do you have now? Like the old school games.
Cabinets. So you mean
The cabinets, okay.
okay, arcade cabinets. Right now, if I were to count, I have basketball. There's a basketball machine, which would be considered an arcade cabinet. There's a boxing machine, which is considered an arcade cabinet. There's some motorcycle machines. Two of them, you can ride together. Those are cabinets. A shooting game, which currently at the moment is down. So maybe 5 or 6 actual arcade cabinets, 2 pool tables, an air hockey table, virtual reality headsets. We have 4, but we use 2 at a time. And then we have a range of consoles from retro consoles to the next gen, the current gen. And we have board games, card games, things like that.
Okay. So, like, what's 3 things that makes you completely different than, let's say, Boxcar? What do you offer that if they stole your idea, they'd be like, you stole that from the Arcade of Thrones?
That's a good question. Well, one, what makes us different is if you've ever been there, depending on when you go, you're going to see something different. Our space, we have a lot of movable pieces in our space that makes it multifaceted, right? Boxcar doesn't have that ability. What you see there is what you see. With the addition of the backyard that they've added, well, not recently, but in the last couple of years, like that was the biggest addition that they had. But outside of that, their layout is pretty much designed the way that it's laid out. For us, we've had a step team. We've had sip and paints. We've had full-blown parties in there, which range between 100 to 200 people. We've had comedy shows in there. We've had 50-year-old birthday party. 50-year-old birthday party celebrated 16-year-old, 1-year-olds. So our space can continue to change, and I think that's something that they don't have the ability to do. 2 is our me myself. Like the arcade is an extension of who I am, and if you've met me and you've been to the arcade, you kind of can piece it together like, all right, no one, this guy probably ain't from here. It's just a different vibe when you walk in there. When you walk into Boxcar, it feels like it's a big-ass box car, and you're just in it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, they're not really, they're not in it to get to know you. If you come into my space, I'm going to talk to you. Hey, how you doing? We're going to mingle. You might even whip my ass in a game or 2. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Can you get that at Boxcar?
Nah, hospitality is real at Arcade of Thrones.
Yeah.
You feel like you're hanging. It feel like a indoor barbecue kind of joint. You go there, you meet up your friends. You might have a couple snacks, a couple of drinks, and then play games. You get competitive. You talk smack.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Pull out some of the dominoes, the cards. Let's get some going on.
A little bit of everything. And number 3 for us, I believe our concept is we want to give money away for tournaments. Like that's my big thing. Like we play games, but I want to play games and win money. Like that's who doesn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like who does not want to play games and win money? And I just don't think that, again, that's something that Boxcar does often. I mean, I host a game night every Thursday night where I would love to give money away, but it's hard to do when people don't want to show up to win money. So, it makes it a little hard, but those are some of the things that makes us, Arcade of Thrones, separate. You can rent us out also as a venue. I know you mentioned 3 things, but I can keep it going. I mean, I got a list.
You know about yourself.
You know
about your business. What you here for?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But no, really, I mean, it's a space that you can actually come rent out and make your own. I mean, from promoters to just personal people, if you want to see an idea come to fruition, I mean, our price point is enough that you can try something and not hurt your pocket. You know, I've learned that a lot of businesses out here, they don't understand when someone's trying to start something up, and so it's always like, well, this is what the cost is. And if you're starting up something, clearly, I may not always have that cost. So I try to give people an opportunity at a much lesser cost to at least give your vision a shot. Maybe from that you could learn, hey, I need to tweak this a little bit. I got to change my price point. Or, at least I've experienced what it's like to get my hands dirty. Sometimes we all need a starting point. We're all not set up for the big leagues just yet. So, again, there's a vibe at Arcade of Thrones that unless you step into it, you're not really going to understand it. And that's okay. We don't necessarily want everybody. You know what I'm saying? We want people that want to be there and understand what we stand for and what we're about. I can keep going, but I'm going to stop. We good there.
So, were there any challenges when you first got started?
Hell yeah.
Like, what kind of video
Where you want me to start? Where you want me to start? From the beginning? Where you want me to start? Heck yeah. I mean, number one, dang, man. Being an African-American entrepreneur is tough. Again, I mean, I don't get to do this often, so I'm going to keep it real. Being a father that owes child support is tough. Because you don't realize if it's owed to the state, it affects a lot of the potential money that you can get through funding if you owe. So there's a lot of untapped money I can't get into simply because I owe child support. And not that I don't love my kids. I do. I love them all. Sometimes systems are systems. So, we're working through that. But regardless, so that was, another struggle. So financially, just getting started was tough. Because this wasn't my first business adventure, I'd kind of used some of my previous good credit and capital for an initial investment. And that kind of hit me when it was time for me to make my move. So, again, capital was hard. Finding capital, getting capital. So I used my own retirement money and threw it at it. That was about, $7,000. And that's how we started the arcade. Built a lot of things that were initially in there from hand, which aren't in there anymore. That took some time. It took a heck of a lot of time. The first person that I got into business with, or I guess helped me with a large portion of this stuff, we didn't see eye to eye, which, sometimes you don't learn right away, initially. So that took a hit because money didn't come in right away, and again, when you're beginning something, when you're at the start of something, it usually doesn't. Like, it just usually doesn't. But this particular individual just couldn't, his patience wasn't there with me. So there was a point where all the things that we had built and put into the space, he actually took out and gutted the arcade.
Dang.
Yeah. Right? Crazy, right? Like, crazy. So what? So I opened up in 2018 because the biggest thing was the financial part. Dang, I should back up. Let me back up before then, right? Because you got to understand how we even ended up where we're at, right? So I'm looking for a space when I realized I wanted a physical building. I'm looking for a space, and the initial space I wanted was across the street in Mission Valley from NC State. That's originally where I wanted to be. Because I was like, yo, this spot needs to be in a place where there's foot traffic. Like, I'm right across from the college. I can't beat that. Like, I'm across the street from the dorm. Like, this is prime location. So, I've been trying to get in touch with the location, couldn't get anybody. So I realized it was because I was trying to reach out, or I didn't have the right individuals reach out. So, got to go through the grapevine. I had the right people, I thought, connect with the people for the property, and they wanted me to show that I had $20,000 in the bank or worth of assets, and that the spot over there was going to be like $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. So I didn't know if they were trying to price me out, right? Like, nah, we don't want you over here, whatever the case is, or whatever, because that's real out here in real estate. If you don't know about property real estate or business real estate, they price you out. If they see what you are, what you're into, what you look like, they will try to price you out. So anyway, so that's how I was like, dang, man, this ain't going to work, although I thought that was going to be the prime location. So ran across a friend. Just so happened that he was like, yo, I think I might have a space that that might fit what you're trying to do if you're trying to get something started. So this initial idea that I had to dumb down to a smaller space. It just so happened that things worked out. Started leasing out at the arcade, and then, things started moving from there. But the location I initially wanted and had in my mind and in place was Mission Valley. I tell you, if we were there, I believe we would be soaring with freaking wings if, had our location been different. So all that determines your timing and, being able to adjust, because based on where we were, we had to change and adjust to what I initially had planned on having, because now I'm in a different space. I'm in a different location. Things had to be a little different in the way we were building and structuring the arcade. So now kind of fast forward a little bit. So like I said, we had just started to get things in place. The step team, our step team that steps there every Tuesday and Wednesday, empowering steppers. Man, listen, they're a phenomenal group of steppers. They step all over North Carolina, outside, inside. Phenomenal group of girls. They actually started using my space in 2019, and they've been there ever since. So around that time, that's when this gentleman just kind of like took all the stuff. I mean, he took TVs, he took lights, he took furniture we built. Like, you walk in there, the only thing that was really left was the arcade games. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to talk about challenges? So, all right. See, like, how do you bounce back from that, right? How do you bounce back? I just had a good group of people that, saw the energy that I was trying to put in, saw what I was trying to do, and we all just, they chipped in and they helped kind of put some screens back for me. We tried to put some things back as best as we could. But instead of being the lounge that we opened up as, because that's what we were, we had more like lounge chairs, pallet chairs, and furniture and sofas. We had to shift our gears to a more open recreational space idea. So, that's kind of how things happened from there. Then, of course, COVID happened. I cannot knock that, because just when we had finally felt like we were finding our footing after all of that, from 2019 to 2020, from March 20, we were booked out solid from March up until about June of 2020. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it. I mean, January, February, I'm like, yo, this year's rocking. Like, yo, we about to be lit. I remember the artwork was being done in the wall. I was in Atlanta in March for my mom's 60th birthday. Lord Fly was in there doing the artwork on the wall. And that's when we got back and they said, everything's getting shut down. Like, what? Like, what? Like, what? Like, finally we reached this point and it's just shut down? Got to readjust again. Now what do you do? No money's coming in. I can't make no money. They're not giving me money because I just opened. Like, I'm not catching any of this money that's out there. Community, my gaming community comes together. I have a group of guys that come every Monday faithfully to play Smash Brothers. They come between 30 and 60 deep every Monday to play Smash Brothers. Talk about dedication. They decided to come together, do a GoFundMe, help keep the arcade alive. That's what I knew during COVID, that this was bigger than me. That's why we're still here. So, I mean, granted, it wasn't enough to fulfill the need that we had, but it was, one, enough to let me know this is bigger than you. And two, listen, they're trying to pull together. You got to make something happen. So I just started grinding. I have nothing else I know how to grind. So, I mean, I guess those have been like the biggest and most major hurdles. And again, I mean, it's been almost 3 years since COVID. And I think we're now almost getting back to where we were in March of 2020. Like, we're not quite there. I'd probably say, we're in the January part where people are calling and we're getting those bookings. And now, as opposed to being 2 or 3 months booked out, we're probably like a month booked out. So either way, it's still good. It's still growth because I can see, regardless of the challenges, we're still here. The whole world doesn't need to know about Arcade of Thrones to be here. You know what I'm saying? It's just those that know, they come through and they support. And that's bigger than anything. So, yeah, there's been challenges in business. There's always going to be challenges. Hell, in life, there's always going to be challenges. But it's how you handle those challenges that determine your success. That was deep. Damn.
What? Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch this back.
Facts. Yo, facts. That's the thing. Why don't I be having those captions under my name? I need to do that on social media. I say some good stuff sometimes.
Speaking of that, how did you get to market, and what was your plan of marketing your space to get people to show up? And
I didn't have an idea. And honestly, I really still don't have an idea. Man, this is trial and error. This has been a lot of trial and error, but I did have some people that actually reached out to me to try to help me, and one of them was Justin Michener, Tech Spartan. So if he's still out there doing his thing, hit him up. He's the one that hooked me up with you guys, if I remember correctly.
I'm the one who introduced him. I think I introduced him to you.
Yeah, something had, but I was like, wait, hold on, it's starting to come full circle now. Yeah.
Because I knew him, I brought him this way.
Yeah.
Your way, because that's what I do. I
Connect.
I know people when I make things happen. When I first met you.
Yeah, you rode through the arcade.
Yeah, I rode through the arcade. I was on a little date kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought you Busy, Brandon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
he's come around too. We have numbers. We've exchanged numbers. Brandon. Facts.
I'm not going to say I was a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a part
Facts.
of it.
Guys, But that's, you want to know how we market? That's how we market.
Yeah, word of mouth.
It's word of mouth. And it's dope because you get a group of dope people in there. You know what I'm saying? It's like you only tell people that you want to know about the space, and those are the people that are there. So it's really a small space of a bunch of dope people. But you don't want to tell everybody that. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're like, where the dope people at? If you just come, it's a vibe that you feel, and you're just like, all right, so, I can rock with this spot. And that's usually what happens. But, yeah, I didn't start out with a real marketing plan because everything that I initially thought I was going to do is not how it occurred at all. I had a complete idea and concept of how I thought that the arcade was going to lay out. And it didn't go anything like that. I had this idea that I wanted to break it up into fractions, or factions, I'm sorry, of people that were able to be really good at playing video games, or people that were really good at card games or strategy games or whatever. And I kind of wanted them to form teams, right? And have those teams play against each other. And that would kind of be like our Game of Thrones or Arcade of Thrones type culture, being competitive for an ultimate prize. But ain't no one coming to a place they ain't never heard of. This is North Carolina. They don't go nowhere they ain't never heard of. What? That's what I ain't going, I ain't never heard of it. I've learned that here. So the initial concept I started out with, which was I based my whole website on and everything, it didn't make any sense to anybody but me because no one knew what I was trying to do. So it didn't work like that. So, we just had to change the pitch and start marketing to people that just wanted to play games either recreationally or competitively. And that took some time for people to click onto. Then we just try to pitch it as a lounge. But because we are not permitted to sell alcohol, it's hard to sell a lounge to people when you're not permitted to sell alcohol. So that's, so there were some challenges that we ran into. So now we're just arcade / venue space / networking space. So I figured, over the course of years, if you just start transitioning enough, if you're just a little bit of everything, increases your chances of making some money. I don't know. Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah. All right, cool.
What was the question, Greg?
See, because I don't even remember the question. I just started talking. I heard a question, and I just started
marketing.
Yeah, marketing.
Yeah.
But So no, see, good thing we went back to that because I could finish. But currently, I do the marketing that you do see on social media. So whether that's Instagram at Arcade of Thrones, or Facebook, which is also Arcade of Thrones. There's one on Twitter and Snapchat, but if I keep it real with you, I don't touch those things. It's hard enough just trying to do Facebook and social media with Instagram. But anything that you do see there, that's me doing that. Instagram is probably the best way to catch anything that's new that's going on. If I'd recommend anybody, if you're really trying to find out what's happening. Or you can call us directly. We do have a website that you can go to. There's a website you can book for the VR. I recommend it. It's fun and it's personalized. I get to be the one to lead you through the process. Yeah, I mean, you can book through those apps. I mean, you can do everything through those apps except for see a whole bunch of marketing stuff because I don't do that well with it. But if you'd like to give me some help or some assistance, hey, my inbox is open. Justin, man, if you're around, bro, hit me up. I could still use some help.
Okay. Got any questions?
You just have one location?
Yes. Yeah, I just have one location.
Do you want another?
I would actually. It's been pitched to me a couple of times. I have someone right now trying to convince me to put it in Pennsylvania. I have my brother that asked me or pitched it to me putting it in Atlanta, and I've also heard them ask me to put it in Charlotte.
It'll probably do really well in Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The only thing I'm hesitant about is that I haven't made it fully successful here, right? You know, like I have a blueprint, but I haven't proven how well the blueprint works for me to say I can put this here and I know that this is what it's going to turn. So I faced a lot of the challenges. I think maybe another year or two, if we can get a steady, consistent idea instead of having all these breaks and challenges in between, I can get a good sense of what the capabilities are. I'd love to put it in a couple of other places because I'd like to open up windows of opportunity for different states to compete with one another and still essentially still be under one umbrella as the arcade. So that's an idea. And if we can't do it like that, then the other thing's to see if we can take it online. So there are some ways to see how we can expand and how we can grow. Clearly, if we can get to the online world, that's where everything is. I mean, because then your potential is pretty much untapped. But yeah, we've explored a couple options about putting our arcade-a-thons in a couple of physical locations. But like I said, until I can prove what we can do here and it makes sense to me, I'm not ready to put it somewhere else.
What do you believe it would take for it to be fully successful here?
I think in order for it to be truly successful here, it would just really be in the basis of the numbers. I would say that if I were making at least double to triple of what the cost of my my monthly costs are, then I'd feel like we'd be making it. Now, granted, I mean I'd keep it 100%. If I had some things in place, I think there are some things that could change that. I do believe a liquor license, for one, could potentially propel that number from where it is a little bit higher because people like to drink. It's hard to get around it. Like, they love to drink. It could be a hole in the wall. They want to drink. They want to drink. And water just usually isn't an option. So, so I do think that would make a difference. I do think having a proper amplified music permitting, realizing how big of an issue that is here in North Carolina as well. I think that could propel some of the events that had been occurring, because that's been some of the reasons why we slowed down, is the city of Raleigh didn't appreciate us having amplified music or having people perform.
Really?
Yeah. So, we used to have open mics weekly. That's actually what we were known for quite some time. And for those of you that know, that's where Mani Michi was actually found, where she linked up with her manager and however that worked out. But yeah, I mean, quite a few artists stemmed from out of the Arcade of Thrones, which is pretty dope to see now. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the setbacks. So I think if you put those elements into place in a space that's walkable, I think it'd do a hell of a job here. But with some of the way that the things are set up here in North Carolina, it doesn't make that easy, you know. But yeah, there's potential. I mean, that's why they keep popping up. You know, their Arcade of Thrones aren't popping up, but similar ideas or concepts of what we are popping up around. And I have nothing against it. I mean, I'm glad there's enough money for everyone to go around, and especially in the gaming community. I mean, it's great to know that more people are into it. There's just, I don't know, I think there's a safety to just gaming and drinking and gaming. I don't know. It's just me personally. So I don't know if that will happen here in this lifetime. You know, if we'll grow, if I'll get those actual things. I've considered it, but when you look at it, gaming, people that game, if the arcade's going to be the arcade, then I have to distinguish whether it's going to be an arcade or whether it's going to be like a club, right? And if it has amplified music and it has all these things that a club has, and it kind of loses its essence as an arcade. So that's kind of where, you know, the struggle is as a business is, and then of course you got some of the interference with the law. So at all this, you're trying to do what's right for the business. You want to do what's right for your customers because you want them to feel comfortable. You want them to come back, and you don't want any problems with the law. Like who wants issues? You know, everyone wants to get home at the end of the night. You know, be good and be safe and have a great time. So I don't know where that's going to take us in the future, but for right now, we still rocking and rolling.
Okay. Do you think about opening another business that maybe has those other elements in the future, possibly? Or you want to keep it in the Arcade of Thrones umbrella?
No, I think if I do anything else, unless I decide to franchise it and make a second location, if I do anything else, there will only be one Arcade of Thrones, right? Or if I change anything else, like it would be different than what the layout and the setup is at Arcade of Thrones. Like I would just make that the hub because that's the initial one. That would be hard to separate. But I wouldn't duplicate it. I do have some other businesses in mind I'd like to try. Nothing really connected to gaming per se. It's more on the transportation side of things, just realizing what people need, you know, looking for a supply and demand type business. But if we could do anything, I would like to explore the opportunities of being able to take Arcade of Thrones online, and being able to see if we can be a source or a platform that you could use as competitive gaming or tournament play. So essentially the same thing that you can do at the arcade, just see if we can do that online, you know, where you guys kind of put your money into a pool and, you know, you guys compete, then winner gets the money, and we probably get a percentage of what it is for arranging the match. So, you know, very similar to some things like Players Lounge, if you're familiar with that, or what's the other one that's out there like that? There's Players Lounge. I was researching all of them. I can't remember any of them now. Gamer Saloon. So there are a couple of them like that. So I would like to see if we could be able to do that, because again, I don't have to worry about a physical location at that point. You know, it's just a matter of how people decide to connect. And then the people that we're connecting to becomes international. We're not just local to what's around us. So I think if I want to take it anywhere, that's where I would like to take it if I wanted to see it grow. If I wanted to expand Arcade of Thrones outside of its current state right now. But I think as far as getting into the business side of things, involving permitting and alcohol, no, I'm uneasy about it, because unfortunately I love people, but people are unpredictable. And when you start adding certain substances into the mix, energies into the mix, anything is bound to happen. Again, I mean, I just think when you talk about a game night and you talk about, you know, going out to a club, I think you have two different perspectives and ideas of what you're going into when you go into it. You know what I'm saying? And I think you get a totally different vibe when you get there, and there's a different energy when you get home. So I just prefer a safer atmosphere as a married man, a man that has a wife and children that I'd like to get home to. I try to keep it as safe as possible, and I just think certain things prompt certain behaviors from certain people, and so sometimes the safest thing to do is try to eliminate it. I ain't had no issue if I put it online. Right? If I go online, I ain't got to worry about no one trying to fight nobody because they're looking at that girl. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. But you're in a small space and you got some alcohol in your system or something else, and that little thing could trigger you, and that could trigger something else. Something just that simple. So I don't know. Being in the game now for going on 6 years, sometimes certain money just isn't worth it, or not all money's good money. Yeah. Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, just dropping them gems, boy. Bam, bam, bam.
And you just go like this dungeon raid that you're going on. You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I told you, man, I keep running my mouth. Y'all got to tell me when to stop.
No, that's what the show is for. Is for people to tell their stories of the journey of how they became who they are, no matter what level they're at. That's what the 2.5 LLCs podcast stands for. Lucrative Life Conversations. We want to make sure we get the best out of our guests, and also in this season in particular, more information in certain areas that some people may want to ask or didn't mean they need to know to ask about what's going on in certain fields from whoever we have on the show.
All right, no, that's dope, bro. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm knocking it out the park. Then that's guess number one.
Yeah.
Hoping that anyone that comes after me, I'm laying the foundation, baby.
Yeah, if you're the bar that has to be set, then they know.
Yeah, facts.
So far the bar, I can't reach the bar personally. I'm only 5 foot, so there's only so many things I can actually reach.
Right. I'm with you though. Just with a little bit of support, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Are we done with the business stuff, or can we ask some fun questions? What's up?
Hold on. And I think that's the most important thing I've been hearing from you so far. You had a lot of support from your own and other people that believe in what you're doing and got involved to the space and want to just have something they can enjoy. And you have something different that you offer to the city that people may do it, but they don't do it the way you're doing it and trying to evolve into in the future. So I think you and that niche is making that stand now, which will make your place attractive than others that start businesses around the area, other fields.
Absolutely. If I can interject and not, I don't want to take away from what you said, because you're right. I did have a support system, but I didn't always have that support system.
Yeah, elaborate.
Yeah, right. That was actually the hardest thing in the beginning, was not having the support system, right? Because when it's your vision and it's your dream, like, no one sees what's in your head but you. So you've got it. You've got this picture, and you're excited as hell trying to tell everybody, and they're like, okay, whatever. Like, I can't see what you see. So, no, my dad was one of the first people that I pitched this to when I had pitched before a boxcar came. And he was like, son, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yikes.
I'm like, Dad, I'm telling you, he's like, video games can't make money. I'm like, Dad, you don't understand. And then I think a year or two later, Vegas decided that they were going to allow betting on gaming. And I was like, whoa, this is big. This is getting big. So I'm like, they about to allow video games to be bet on? Like, you don't think? Like, you're not seeing this? Like, you're not seeing this. But again, if you're before your time, you know what I'm saying? Like, that timing is so important, because I saw it clearly before he could, or other individuals could, but, someone jumped the gun before I did. But, so he didn't support me. My wife is like, you're not working, money is tight. Like, how are we going to do this? I'm not seeing it coming in. Like, how you, so the people that you thought should have been or would have been in your corner were the ones that really weren't. And I don't think that they were doing it intentionally. They were just being who they were, and they couldn't see your vision. But it wasn't until I had to stay dedicated, because I ain't gonna front. There was some times I'm like, forget this, like scrap this. If ain't no one riding with me, like what's the point of me doing it? But I have a sister, I have some siblings, but I have a sister I love the most, and I was just telling them like, yo, I'm scared. Like I'm scared because I don't want to fail. You got all these people already doubting you. I can't fail. I don't want to fail. So she's like, well, then don't, stay at it. Stay at it. And, so in the beginning, yeah, it was a lot of treading, some hard water, tried to find every which way to cut corners. And so to be here 6 years later and earning their support, because once they start seeing it, and then the first night that they actually seen it with people in there, I'm like, this is what it was all about. This is what my vision was. Like, this is what I saw. This is what I dreamt. Then they started to understand, like, wow, but they couldn't see it then because it wasn't their dream. And sometimes the support, it's like that. The people that you think should support you or you would want to support you initially, it's probably not where it's going to come from. But you got to stay steadfast in what you want if it's your dream. You got to prove to them. You got to show them what you see. And it wasn't until that started to happen that, I started to get a little more, support from those around me. And now, now I have a much larger one between the customers and, some of the employees and associates that I've worked with, that it's grown. But yeah, it wasn't always there. But that is the support that I received through the community. The support that I'm receiving from them is the reason why I continue to drive to keep this space open. So I just wanted to add to that. I was in agreement with everything that you said, but I just wanted to keep it real in the sense that support doesn't always come. It definitely doesn't. And again, when you're looking for, like, especially from your family, sometimes that's not where it's gonna come from. It's just not. And just be willing to accept that. It's not anything personal that they have against you. It's just for them. They can't see and imagine what you see.
Yeah, they don't know.
Not
everybody's gonna know.
Hell, sometimes I still don't know. I'm still piecing it together. Like, I think I have an idea, but it's an adjustment, along the way. But it's all a process. It's a process that I don't regret. I wouldn't go backwards. I'd do it all over again.
Just like when gaming first, people started to see you can make money with gaming. Mm-hmm. People were like, oh, you would never make money playing video games. Look now, you idiots. Well, not idiots. They just don't. They just didn't know, but still.
And that was one of the driving forces behind my business, because I was one of those where my mom used to say all the time, get off them games. You can't make money playing video games. But now I have a space that I'm giving you money to play. Like, I'm giving away the money for you to win playing video games. Or you come in there and there are tournaments where you can make money playing video games, or you're getting connected with esports teams that you get signed where you can make money playing video games. So you can't tell me money can't be made playing games.
Side note, I went to an Apex Legends tournament at the PNC earlier last year.
That was the 3-day one?
Yeah, that was crazy. Top prize was $500,000.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the total pot like $5 million or something? Like, they gave away like $5 million worth of money? I know they gave away a crap load of money.
Possibly. But yeah, I said, when I walked in, I seen it. I said, oh, this is real. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I know somebody who's starting to get programmed and wants to make his own game. So,
and that's the other thing I want people, like, they all look at the idea of the money that's made playing the games, but do you know how much money that goes into designing a game, the music in the game, the development of a game, just in a game? Like, I know a lot of our youth are into rappers and basketballs and stuff, but we could let them know there's, in the same thing that you're playing every day, how many different opportunities you have just to make money in that one thing. But we're not telling them that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we expect them to do anything more with themselves if we're not feeding them other opportunities that they could reach out and outlets that they can get into? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to feed them, or at least try to lead them. And if we're not giving them things, we just saying, here, go ahead and play the game. They're not knowing, well, man, this design look kind of cool. I wonder if I switch this in the game, what could happen? How can I learn to do that? Just do a little code a little different. They text so much. Some of that texting is just similar to what you need to do in coding. It's just knowing no matter what buttons and symbols to put. But the energy is just not there. But we're not leading them into that. We're not saying, hey, listen, you ever thought about trying to do that? So I mean, a lot of it, I think, falls on us in the development of where things can go. But so much can happen just through the outlet of gaming itself. And that's why I appreciate it, and that's why I like it, because even at its simplest level, even as a game of Uno, you could learn. You can have a 7-year-old sitting there with a 5-year-old playing a game of Uno, but it's real, because that's how I started playing. I started playing with my grandmother, and it was myself. But how many other games could you put an older person and a younger person with that age disparity between them and still be able to enjoy a game? Yeah, I'm just saying, man, the world of gaming is serious. From a social aspect all the way up to a lucrative aspect of how much money that could be made in it. It's, I guess, how people's perspective is on it. But I hated that mantra, man. You can't make money playing video games. That used to kill me. Man.
I think for a while as well, gaming wasn't looked at as cool until recently.
True.
Because if you were playing certain games, you were labeled a nerd or a geek.
Well, you still label a nerd and geek.
Yeah.
Play games.
That's true. That's true.
Gaming is still a nerd thing, but now it's cool to be a nerd.
Right. It's more accepted. Right. It's like, You're still
a nerd, you're still a dork, you're still a loser if you're playing games. People tell you that in your face.
Yeah.
You want to spend all your damn time on a video game? You loser. You can't go outside and touch some grass? You
Yeah.
loser. You want to be online all day talking to your fake friends? You
Right.
loser.
I think it also depends on what type as well,
Nah.
too, in certain aspects.
Still nerds. Everybody got an inner nerd.
Got an inner nerd,
Nerds.
right?
It's okay, though.
Yeah, I'm with it. I mean, heck, I'm a nerd. I'm not like completely nerded out. Like, I don't know all of it, but I know enough to be like, hell, I'm a nerd and I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's a matter of, I guess, a definition, or culture, because that's what it is. Because, I mean, you can be like real. I don't know if it's real nerdy. I don't know how to say it, like a real nerd. But I mean, you can be like deep into the cosplay. Like there's some people, and I mean, they can consider that nerdy. I consider that dope and like passionate because the amount of effort they put into that stuff, that's energy.
Oh, yeah. After anything that you have an over obsession of, you become a nerd.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Typically, what we do, us music stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because y'all start speaking some language and some lingo. I'm like, huh?
You're like nerds. Sitting there making all that music, nerds.
Yeah.
Let me go outside, play some video games.
Yeah, facts.
Nerds. Sitting there making them beats, nerds.
Start saying all these different software names and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you use that. Oh, that was something you use. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. There's nerds in everything. It's an over obsession. Now, it's the stereotypical in the movie with the glasses. The look of a nerd is different. It's the thought that makes you the nerd.
It's valid. I co-sign that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Yeah.
That's my opinion. But it's the truth, too.
It's just all about what people want to do for themselves and accomplish. And hopefully they get uplifted by the ones around them. But if they don't, hopefully they're still strong enough to carry that forth. And I think that's what makes people successful and be able to achieve their goals and dreams. No matter what, they still find somewhere inside them that, hey, I'm still going to keep going no matter what happens.
Yeah, I hope every individual has that. Because sometimes we tend to give up just a little bit too soon.
Oh, yeah.
Like you don't know the opportunity that could happen if you just push just a little bit longer. And that's what I keep doing. I've thought about closing the arcade several times. I'm not gonna lie, and even now I'm still questioning it. I'm giving myself a time limit because even as a business owner, you should have an exit strategy. It doesn't mean that you fail. It just means that things didn't work out the way that you planned, and that's the reality of things. You should always have an exit strategy. And I keep thinking, hey man, if I gotta use it, what's the plan? That's why I'm considering other business opportunities and things of that nature. But I mean, you never know, but I keep saying, man, if you just stay another month, like who knows who you might meet, who might call, what contract might happen, like you don't know. You got to give it like another month. And then after that month, some things happen and you're like, dang, I got enough to push it another month. Just if you keep going, you won't know what happens if you stop. You know what I'm saying? You'll never know if you gave up unless you feel like you've exhausted all your options then. by all means, I understand. But if you think you still got life left to give and you can push, keep pushing. Yeah, definitely don't give up, because all it takes is that one phone call that could change everything. That one client that walks in is like, "Yo, can I book this on a regular basis?" Like that's all. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Yeah. One opportunity can change your life for sure.
Absolutely.
I feel like anyone that said that in the song.
Mm.
Yeah. That's a nerve right there.
Fair. Any questions?
You into streaming?
I am on and off. I used to stream Madden, and I occasionally do when I'm requested to, or it's mandatory. So I'm a Madden head.
Me too.
All right. Oh, that's what's up, man. I am a Madden head.
We might need a 2.5 LLCs Madden tournament coming soon in development. We'll
Oh,
talk
wait,
about it
let
later.
me know, man. Yeah,
Talk about it later.
we could use a spot. We could use a spot.
Are you good at Madden, Dre?
No. I haven't
See,
played.
he's honest though. He's honest though.
I haven't played video games since 2014.
Oh, wow, it's been a while.
When
That's almost 10 years, Dre.
when the
What are you talking?
when the PS4 first came out, because like you said, don't give it too soon, right? I wanted it too bad. I got a refurbished one from GameStop. Every time I played Call of Duty, it would freeze.
Dang.
Every single time. I got a new
Refurbished, man.
I got a new one. I got another one. It did the same thing. So I ended up having this. So I was like, well,
This is a sign. That was a sign.
because this one they were sold out everywhere, like the PS5 is now, but obviously to a little bit lesser degree. But you damn near have to get a PS5 at a pawn shop today if you really want to get one. It's
Yeah, and
crazy.
even then, it's still not that easy to get hands on. Like, it's still not that easy.
But yeah, I haven't played in about 10 years.
Dang, yeah, wow. Well, I mean, certain games you'd probably be able to jump into, but yeah, it's going to be a learning curve. If you were to jump on anything now,
You know, funny you
it's a
say that.
serious learning curve, man.
Funny you say that, because I was over at one of my friends' house recently, and he has his PS4, and I was playing Call of Duty. But I used to play on 10 sensitivity.
Oh, okay.
Because back when I was playing when I was younger in the Modern Warfare 2 days when that first came out, I used to be in the quick scope, and then I just wanted to. Because I played that game day and night release. That's all I did besides go to school. I was playing that.
He's hardcore.
Oh yeah, I was the only one around the people I was playing with that got the 10th prestige legit at that time, and it's 70 levels, 70 levels, mind you, and it's 10. So,
Nerd.
and I wasn't good at all. I wasn't that good at it. I learned over time because
Yeah,
I just
but you put the time
kept
in.
playing it. And when I got good, it looked weird because I still had a negative kill death ratio.
Yeah, but putting all the work in to get there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's been a good while. But now, I mean, I stream now, just kind of on and off. Right now, I'm streaming God of War as I go through it. I'm on it on not the hardest level, but the one next to hardest. I don't know why. I usually like to just challenge myself, give myself something to do. So I'll stream that as I play it. I like to play multiverses. It's just kind of like my downtime. I'll stream that occasionally, and Madden if I'm required to stream it. Usually we have to stream it for playoff games. So usually outside of that, I don't like to stream it because I don't like people seeing my plays. Because I know in our league, we scout. I mean, let's keep it real. Yeah, go ahead, stream so I can scout your plays. Like that's the idea. It's like the real NFL. But yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Everything you say
It-
is so nerdy.
It is, and it is, because that is like you start talking Madden, depending on who you're playing against, you'll see how real they are about being a Madden player.
Yeah, it's almost very culty-like. And it's just, it's okay though.
So I'm good with the Colts, but this last Madden was shit, trash, straight trash. They should have burned it. Sorry, Madden. They did not do justice for you this year.
Speaking of trash video games, how do you feel about kind of the recent? Well, I'm not all the way sure, but I've noticed anyway that people talking about the state of gaming is not in the greatest right now because it's pretty much coming out unfinished or they're relying on updates and microtransactions. So, how do you feel in your gaming realm about the recent crop of video games that's been coming out over the last about 5-10 years?
I probably wouldn't be the best person to ask, only
Okay.
because I play a lot of the same games. You know,
Gotcha,
like, you know,
okay.
you say your 2Ks. You know, I play them. You know, by the year. You know, Madden I play it by the year. Only occasionally will I really jump into a game that might grab my interest. But what I will say is this: I do agree that a lot of quality of the games are not at the expectation of where I thought that it would be, and I do think it's because we're stepping into a lot of new technology, and so it's hard for them to put out a quality product for something that's new to them. You know what I'm saying? Like PlayStation 5 came with a new hardware and software inside of it that was supposed to develop better games, right? But now for better games, they've made better TVs. So that's going to bring in a different type of quality. So all these different qualities that are being brought out because of new technology, it's hard to keep developing stuff that's going to show a crisp, high quality if you keep changing the parameters and the dimensions of things. So I think that kind of plays a role in it. I also do think that it's hard to judge a lot of things, and I don't want to give them a break, but over the last 3 to 5 years, it's hard to judge a lot of things because things haven't been normal. Getting pieces, getting parts, getting things like so. A lot of things I think they're just kind of making do with what they can to produce a product. Is that legit? No, because they're still charging us out the ass for this stuff. But from a business standpoint, they got to put out a product. So they're going to do whatever they can to put out the product. And if they got to patch it, they're going to do it along the way. I do believe, though, that they've come so obsessed with the money aspect of the gaming and how to get the money out of the game, as opposed to before they were just creating a game and developing a game for the person to enjoy. But now it's like, okay, so buy the console, buy the controller, buy the game, buy the DLC, buy the extra content. Like, okay, one game just got like $400-$500 out of me, and you still want me to buy more games? You know what I'm saying? I mean, right now the games are going at what, $60-$70 a clip? Yeah. And then the controller, $70. The console is, depending on where you're getting from, ranges between $5 to about $8-$9, depending if you're getting scalped or not. You
need good fucking internet.
You need quality internet. You're gonna need a solid monitor or TV. We didn't even get to start playing the game yet. So you to get started, you spend at least a stack just to get started. You didn't even play the game yet. That's a stack in maybe one game.
And now you gotta wait to download it.
And then the space. The more games that they make, the more space that's going to take up because, again, the quality of the game, how much they got to put into it's going to take up space. And then you want to save stuff, so that's going to take up more space.
And now you need an external hard drive, SSD.
And all they're doing is getting this from you. The money. It's kind of like the days of the Toyota Camrys, they like, screw that. If most people had a Toyota Camry, you knew I had a car that was going to last forever. I might die before the car. Just real talk. Like, that's just how them Camrys roll. They were built like that. Now
That's
you
a
look.
crazy statement.
Huh?
That's a crazy statement.
It is, I mean, I took it kind of far, but real talk, I mean, if anyone's owned a Camry, and honestly, I've owned 3. Before me, my dad owned, I think, 2 or 3. My wife's family owned a couple. Like, you gotta own a Camry. Like, if you want a car that's gonna last forever, like, and each one has at least gotten us 300,000 miles. I promise you. And if I didn't say I'm gonna let it go, it probably still would have been running. Like, that's how crazy it is. But that's, but nowadays, that's not the way things are built. It's built to make you come back to spend more money. And it's like we're already spending so much money in a state where inflation is high and money is at a premium, and you're putting out shit and you want us to pay this for it? But we do it. I don't know. We're the dumb ones or if they are. I don't know.
That's FOMO.
Right. Yeah.
That's FOMO. That's what FOMO is.
So I don't know. It's somewhat, I guess, disappointing and deflating at the same time. But I feel like, Madden to me is chess. If you want to think, if I want to escape my world, that's what Madden is. The other little games I play is kind of just like a pastime, but Madden is my escape from reality for the time that I play it. I challenge myself in the process. I know I'm playing somebody wherever the heck they are. I'm playing live people. It's just it's almost like me sitting down at a park bench, just taking some time out, saying I want to play a game of chess like right now. That's what my Madden is for me. So that's what the investment is for me, a piece of my sanity. What do you play on? Because we might have to link up just to dibble that. Oh heck yeah, we're gonna link up before it's over. But if anybody, I know we talked about streaming a long time ago, wants to catch me online or look at some of my whack videos, I think on YouTube it's Arcade of Thrones or Vibes with AOT. I think that's right. And Twitch, I haven't streamed in who knows how long. That's JBoogie429. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
As far as any business documents to any upcoming business owners you may have had to get and obtain, or business licenses that you may inform people you think are important for people to know about when they get into starting a business in a physical location, what would those be from your experience and point of view?
Oh, okay. It's been a while since I did that. I should go back into my phone to see what I documented. Well, definitely some of the things you want to have, if I could remember offhand, is you definitely want to be registered with the state. All right, you want to register your business. If anything, you want to do that.
What class is yours under?
What class?
Like S Corp, C Corp?
Oh, okay. I got you. I am considered an LLC. Although I did put my paperwork in to become an S corporation, although that's quite of a jump because it needs to be based off of how much you're making. But right now I went with an LLC. That's how I started it. It's a limited liability corporation, which means most of the liability that happens to the business they can charge it to the business, but they can't charge it to you personally. So your business holds the liability if anything were to happen, and not you. There's some other options that you could choose as a sole proprietor, which means you take full responsibility of everything over the business. And then you have a sole corporation, or which is usually just for bigger entities. So usually LLC can transfer over into as corporation. So I guess before that, you want to establish your entity before you can actually even register with the state. So I guess that's the first thing you want to do. Get your EIN, establish who you are as a business, what entity that you want to file as. And once you get that, you want to go ahead and register with the state. So those are pretty important things. You want to, once you get those things, you want to open up a business bank account, right? Because you always want to keep your business bank account separate from your personal. Just don't want to mix. Don't want to mix the two. When it comes down to physical location, you're definitely, you're going to have your lease. You're going to have a building inspector come and check out the space, fire inspector come and check out the space. All those things need to be done prior to you trying to apply for a alcohol or liquor permit. If you're going to be having performances, or if you're going to have live music or loud music that's going to be amplified, then clearly an amplified music permit. And you want to check where you're zoned. So your zoning here in North Carolina will determine how loud your music can be, when things should be shut off. If you're in an area where alcohol is acceptable, or if it's not, or if there are restrictions around it. I know if you're in a downtown area, like there's certain rules that aren't applicable to you simply because you're downtown, as opposed to those that are outside the downtown limits. I would say that those are probably some of the main things. I would recommend a business plan. I would recommend one. Most people won't take you seriously unless you have one. I mean, even if it's not lengthy, have something. Have something. It's everything in a business plan is about projection. It's not what's going to happen. It's not to the T. It's about what you project to happen. So you're giving someone almost what you think your plan's about to lay out. You're giving them a blueprint of the plan you're about to lay out, not necessarily knowing that it's going to go exactly the way it's supposed to be planned. So I think all those things are kind of important because when you start talking to leasing people, believe it or not, that's critical when you're looking for a space. They're going to want to know what's your plan? What do you plan to do? How do you plan to make your money? What's your expectancy? You need to understand if, the place that you're looking at is going to allow you to sell alcohol or not, because every space that you want to rent, they don't give you that option. So, I think ultimately those are probably the beginning things that you'll need to get started. And then whatever city and state that you're in, I'd just say, you want to look at the state municipalities and see, what they require with whatever field that you're in. Because I'm in the type of business I'm in, I don't really sell a lot of products, so I don't need too much. I mean, my space is pretty much a venue space. And a lot of the items I have are already resale items. So it's not really much that I need from my side of things, but depending on what you're selling, and how you're selling, what you're selling, may determine on the different type of permitting that you might need. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. Certifications. Well, this is going to come along in the process, but depending on what your business is, definitely keep in touch with the SBA, Small Business Association, SBA.gov. A lot of information is on there, and simply by being a minority, by being a woman, by being African American, there are tons of opportunities, certificates, funds, and resources that you could find if you tap into it. So, there are some helpful things on there, some things I wish I would have learned before I got started in the process, but, I can share it with people now. So SBA.gov is a good place to find some resources, grant money, funding, startup money, help with accounting. There's just some really good stuff there to get started.
Okay. Any advice to anyone wanting to start a business like yours or a business in general? What to do and what not to do?
Whew. All right. So for anyone that would or is interested, because it's funny, because I got a call. I got a call about 2 days ago about someone that is interested in doing this. And they wanted to know about how I did it in the business and stuff. So this is interesting. This was kind of like pre-preparation. Well, one, if you want to do it, just do it. That's for one. If you think you have an idea and you think that you can make it happen, go ahead out there and do it. I would recommend that if you're going to do this, then you need to be passionate about it, because the money doesn't come fast and furious. It's kind of slow and steady, kind of like how the inception and the evolution of video games. It's kind of slow and steady. But the consistency of it it tends to work out in your favor. I would say do not base your income on liquor sales if you plan to use the space more so as a recreational arcade. I just haven't seen it be successful in people that make that the priority. Kind of like a club makes their bar and admission. That's their paycheck. That's everything. If you don't drink at their bar, it's pretty much a wrap for them. If you're able to design your business that if you have a bar and your bar is kind of like what your commission check is, then I think you're bound for success. But most people will find most gamers are not in there and they're not there to drink. You might have one or two that pop in for a drink here and there, but you're not going to make a shit ton at your bar. That's just me personally. I could be wrong, but just from my experiences and some of those that I've seen not make it, because I've seen several of other businesses similar to the idea that I've had, or similar to the Arcade of Thrones, not make it. I've seen some that are kind of just making it. I've seen some that had to kind of shut down in different aspects, and I see new ones being formed. So, there's still ideas out there. People are still creating it. So, I think that's the main thing. If you think that you got it, go for it. Because I think it's a safe space and I think it's needed, especially building out in the community. But if I'd say a big do not do, I wouldn't make alcohol a high priority for your a part of your revenue. I wouldn't account for it as a large part of what you need to make to make the business thrive. And I think they'll be fine. There's a lot that can happen in this world. You know, more people are getting in tune with this gaming side of things. So there's plenty of success and opportunities for everyone out there.
Want to ask anything else? All right, fun time.
Oh, fun
Right.
time.
So you mentioned multiverse, metaverse, all that good stuff. What you be doing in there?
Oh, All right, so Multiverses is the Warner Brothers version of Smash Bros.
Gotcha.
So that's Multiverses. Now the metaverse. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I do not dabble too much in the metaverse because I am afraid I will get lost. All right, it's real.
Very real.
It's real. I get more into the games. Zombieland is my joint on the VR. That's pretty dope. I enjoy that. But as far as like connecting with the people, like I can't, because I think I tried one time and you get so lost in it, like you really are disconnected from real reality.
Right.
And that to me is a little unnerving, simply because I'm not aware of my surroundings. Like, you know, my wife is in the house, the kids are in the house. Like, someone could come in, take out my whole squad, and I'm in I'm in the metaverse about what up? That's why I imagine. Like, what movie was that? Was it Ready Player One, where they started using the VRs, and there was a part where there was a person that was in it, and the guy he was in the chair. He was just in the avatar. He was all in the VR joint, and the guy came and killed him. Like, he couldn't do nothing. He in VR.
You know, Great Player One.
But, you know, and now, granted, that's an extreme example. But again, that was extreme, but that's how disconnected you really are. Like, you don't know. The sound and everything is amplified that you're immersed in the game. Like, so what's around you doesn't connect. So, you know, I mean, I always jokingly tell my wife, like, listen, you don't give me no play, I'm going to the metaverse. Like, where you don't talk to me, I'm going to the metaverse. Like, they gonna talk to me, you know, and they do some wild stuff, man. They got some crazy bodies that they create. Like, there's some off the wall stuff in VR. Like, I'm just like, you know, it could be tons of fun. It could be, but that's why I don't do it, because then if I start getting into that, a person that's so connected to reality, if I start getting into that, then the time just flies. You know, it does. It's fun as hell, though. It is. But if you ain't got someone to kind of pull you out, yeah, you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost. Especially if you find something you enjoy, you're going to get lost.
That's true. Very true.
But in virtual reality, porn's pretty dope, too. Just, if y'all were wondering, you can watch porn. It's dope. Is that okay to say?
I mean, hey, sure.
If it's not, you can edit it. I'm just saying, hey, I had to try it out, right? Because I'm like, there's a web. And the web, you can do. Oh, that's dope. Okay, it's pretty cool.
Word.
Listen, let me tell you. Everybody that has a VR headset has probably already tried it. Like, they had to. Come on, you know they have. And if they haven't, they're about to go try it after they heard this. They're gonna be like, "Word, you could do that." Yeah, there's settings and everything that you can switch to really make it come out the way it's supposed to be. But if you're interested, you'll find out. Or YouTube or Google. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the worst game you ever played?
The worst game I ever played. Dang, I played quite a few of those.
Like, the game you turn on, you got maybe 30, 40 minutes into it, and you're like, yo, man, this thing is
Damn.
trash.
Do you know how many games? Yeah, I can't stand Fortnite. I can't. Like, I'm with you on that. I only tried that for my son, and I'm like, oh, hell no. I can't do this. But no, there was one that was worse than that. I just, I gave it a shot though, but Assassin's Creed. Yeah, but it was too repetitive for me. Like, it's, you know, and I don't know if it gets better after the first one. I heard it does. I couldn't wait to end the first one, but it took me so long to do it because I just stopped, because I'm like, I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like, screw this shit. Like, I need a game that has some variety to it, and that just didn't cut it for me. But that was one that I was like, nah, like I couldn't. I've never played past the first one. I've watched some people play. I think Brotherhood, I think they said was probably one of the better ones of the Assassin's Creed's series. Yeah. I couldn't. I just, they lost me after the first one.
And you always start at the beginning of the series of games? Like, you always start on number one?
Yeah, if I know that there's a sequel, if I know that there's sequels to it or there's a series to it, yeah, I usually try to because I like to follow the story. You know, if I'm going to play something, I'm going to play it for the story. Or at least to get an understanding for it from the beginning. But it has to be a game that intrigues me. You know, like Last of Us was a game I wouldn't find myself playing, but it just felt fitting during the pandemic because that's when I played it. During COVID, I played it. I knocked that game out. Then to watch the HBO joint, I'm like, oh, this is lit. That's what's up.
That was about to be my next question. Did you?
Oh, hell yeah. That was good. It was good. It was good, and I was like, it was pretty in tune with the game. I actually went to go back and play the game afterwards, but then I have to delete something on the PlayStation 5 to put it on there to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to go through that energy.
Yeah. You also get a hard drive. They had Crucial got a sale on their hard drives. I think it's like the 501 gig one is like $30.
Oh, really? I might have to do that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing because I have a lot of games in the library. You know, time is one of them. Like I said, Madden is like priority number one, and the other games just fill in. You know, so. But yeah, the Assassin's Creed, that was just like, why this shit? And then the other one, I guess, if I had another one, was Nickelodeon Brawl, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. That was trash too. That was pretty bad. That's why I got into Multiverses. Multiverses is dope. Like, where else are you gonna fight with Gizmo from Gremlins? Like, that's just too fun. Like, I'm serious. Like, come on, man. You whipping Superman's ass with Gizmo. Like, that just looks all crazy.
That's the one that's on all the platforms, right?
Yeah, and it's free. Yeah. You can play. You can download it on just about any platform: PC, Xbox, PlayStation. It's free.
Like I remember when it came out and it was going strong. I just didn't hear a lot of people talk about it that much.
Yeah, well, I think initially because they were still nerfing a lot of the players, and I think they almost have them all about where they want them to be. I think the last one they were really working on was Morty. So, I mean, they're still tweaking a few things. I would like to, play some people competitively. I mean, again, anything I do online, I play people. But I'd like to play some people competitive just to see, number one, if I think I'm as good as I think I am. Maybe I'm not. I want to play some real people to see, what the competition is like out here. But Multiverses doesn't seem to be a bigger thing here as Smash or Tekken or Street Fighter. So, we'll see.
So, the tournaments you do have, they're all Tekken and Smash Bros.
So no, not as much anymore. So the main tournaments that we have now is the Smash Bros. Tournament, which happens every Monday, which I mentioned. That's from 6:30 and they run to about 12. Then they have a monthly on a Sunday where they basically do the same thing, except for I think they do squads as opposed to singles. On the Mondays it's singles. On the Sunday they do I think squads and singles. We were doing a tournament that had a bunch of the fighting, but our space got a little small for them, so they took it out to Durham. Something off of Roxborough Street. I forget what it's called now. Is it the Armory? Bull City Cider Works, something like that? Nah, sorry, y'all. Don't quote me. But it's somewhere out there. I know it's 305 South Roxborough Street. So whatever that's addressed for, that's where it's at. So they moved out there. Mm-hmm. So I think they said it was just they needed more space and they wanted to do it on a different day of the week. So right now, nope, we don't really have any real tournaments outside of that. We might try to throw one here and there. We might do a 2K. We might do a Madden, just see who pops up. But on Thursday nights, again, I'm going to keep throwing that out there. I'd like to try and see if we can get some people out there to see what they're into so we can start creating more tournaments on Thursday nights, which could kind of, again, give some money away to some people that want to win some. Whether it's Mario Kart, whether it's Tekken, whether it's Smash, whether it's Multiverses, whether it's Madden 2K, whether it's air hockey, pool, basketball. I'm with it. Anything that's in there, we can make it to a game. Let's make some money. You know what I'm saying? Let's make some money.
You don't have like a poker night?
So I did have a poker night. See, great that you asked. I did, but you learned that most people want to play poker for cash and not for free,
Sure.
right? And I told you, my goal at the end of the night is I want everyone to get home, and I just don't think if it was for cash, I could safely, say every individual can make it home at the end of the night.
Yes. Somebody pulling a revolver out of somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
have the high security. Not, people coming too serious.
yeah, and I'm like, it's, he can't be that serious. So I mean, I did. I invested in having free poker for a while, where you could earn tickets to the World Championship of Poker, but again, most individuals they were more interested in trying to make money at playing poker. So that didn't last very long. But I mean, I still have chips. I have cards. Don't mean we can't play it. We ain't playing for money though. We can play if people want to come out to play. I have the stuff to have it. I have stuff to play spades, bid whist, Uno, taboo, categories, checkers, chess, Twister. Gestures, Pictionary, Cards Against Humanity. Huh? Yes, sir. Connect Four, Battleship. Yes. What else? Parcheesi, Skipbo, Phase 10. Monopoly. I had Life. I don't know if I have all the pieces anymore. And then I have like puzzle games. Like I have a block puzzle game that's like Tetris. It's just a series of things, man. Again, it's just like I said, it's a vibe. If you want to come there and chill and just play games, like that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and hell, if ain't no one else to play, I'll play you. I don't care. We can play Trouble if I have that. Operation, which I may have all the pieces too. I don't know. Like I said, I have so much stuff there, but when kids get into it, sometimes, pieces might disappear. But yeah, man. And it's a cool vibe. It tries to be family friendly. I didn't mention that. We try to be family friendly up until about 6 or 9 o'clock, depending on when the day is. But after 9, it's adult time. Facts. Because adults need to have their fun too. That's the way I look at it.
Not be ruined by some dumb sucker.
Facts. I'm telling you, because they will. they will try to suck the life of you. Suck the life out of you while you're there. And I got a crane. You can win your lady. A free. You got a lady? Well, that's for later. But you can get a teddy bear or something. That seems to be pretty popular. And let you know, mine is an easy one. Whoever does my machines, they need to make that harder. They let y'all win them things way too easy. They can change the thing on that, right? Did you know that?
Yeah. Like a scam.
Mm-hmm. Well, all of them, they're really all a scam if you think about it. But yeah, I was like, you can make it easy. Stop playing.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it's all a hustle. It's all video games and stuff is all a hustle.
So, as going back to
Hold on, I'm gonna cut you off. Key. We're gonna wrap the show up. We used to like to end with 2 questions. Now we're gonna add a third one in there.
Okay.
So we're gonna start a little serious, have a little fun one in the middle, then end with informative about yourself and what you do and what you're a part of.
Okay, bet.
So first is a word or a phrase that makes you great.
A word or phrase that makes me
Great.
Yes. Oh. A word or phrase that makes me great. Okay. Well, man, I got a lot of phrases. See, I was dropping gems earlier. But this one is my greatest challenge is myself. All right? And I think that's what makes me great. If I'm constantly challenging myself, I can only better myself. I'm my greatest challenge.
That was tough. I ain't gonna lie. That was tough. That was good.
I told you, Jackie. I had a mic to drop. I drop it.
This is a new one.
Okay.
2.5 things. 2.5 of your favorite and non-favorite things. 2.5 that goes in that category. Just 2.5.
2.5. All right.
2.5.
Okay, 2.5. Let me see which one would say for the half. All right, so 2.5. All right, wait. Okay, so repeat the question for me one more time.
2.5 things, favorite or not favorite thing,
Okay.
but just 2.5 of them.
Okay. So, favorite thing
Or not.
or not?
You get
favorite
2.5.
thing. I get 2.5 of them. Okay.
2.5 total though, so choose
2.5.
wisely.
Yeah. Oh, I am. Oh, yeah, this is tough. I thought it was supposed to be the fun one. This was more thoughtful than the first one. This is taking more thought. 2.5. All right. I do not like traffic at all. Yeah, I don't like traffic. That was one thing. I really enjoy Mary Jane.
The song or the substance?
That was my half.
Okay. Okay. I got one more left.
So this is a full one. And what do I like? Opportunities like this to rock out with really cool people. Thank you guys.
Cool. Appreciate you for coming, man.
No doubt, man. But no, that's real though. Like, days are short. Getting opportunities to just rock out with people. You know what I'm saying? Like genuine people. It's hard to come by. So can't take it for granted. So thank you.
Thank you. What is your brand? Now, when I say this and ask this to people, want to get a grasp of, hey, if you get a call, I'm going to pay you such amount for what you do and what you represent. What would you tell said person?
Well, Arcade of Thrones is the brand that I've created, as I said, which is almost an extension of myself. So you're going to get reliability. You're going to get quality customer service. You're going to get flexibility. You're going to get understanding. And you're going to get someone that's going to keep it 100. And I think that's everything that embodies what our brand stands for and what I stand behind as my brand. All extensions of who I am.
Okay.
Should I keep going?
That pretty much, unless you want to elaborate.
Pretty much
more,
summed
that-
it up. I
that
mean,
sums it up.
I just elaborate if you needed me to, but no, that honestly about sums it up. You know, that's what I would want. You know, at the end of the day, when I go somewhere, you know, I want someone to be attentive, you know, be understanding, you know, try to be flexible to the needs that I have, but, you know, all while passionate about what they're offering me. So I feel it's only right to be able to deliver that. And I think that's what we do. Except for the times I'm not there. Can't control that.
All right. With that being said, we appreciate you all morning, noon, and night, whenever you're listening and hearing this. If you don't already know, like, comment, and subscribe to what we're doing, because when you do, you will become greater, and it helps us grow to be greater as well. So just make sure you do that so we can become the best we can be, and you can be the best you can be if you're not already. Even if you are, you can be greater. Always remember that. And with that being said, this is the conclusion of this episode of the 2.5 LLCs podcast. What number to be dated? And all in all, we appreciate you for coming by, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate the invitation. Appreciate you guys having me here. You know, this was cool, man. It was a good way to cap my night. Some good stuff. You know, had me relive the journey, and again, had me appreciate the journey in itself and the process that it takes to get to where we were to where we are. So, now daily reminders are always good. Always good of that. You know, just to kind of help you keep going. You know, sometimes you give people advice about keep going. Sometimes you need to hear it yourself. So, all in all, this is just one of those things. So, I appreciate you guys once again.
Hopefully, in a couple more years, you'll be back.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And with some new developments, right?
Exactly.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. We're going to leave those doors of opportunity open.
Well, we're trying to make this operation like a Toyota Camry.
Yeah, right? I'm telling you. Trying to keep that bad boy running 300,000 miles plus, baby. 300,000 miles plus.
Where can the people find you and your brand at?
Facts. Well, you can find us on our website, www.arcadeofthrones.com. You can find us on Instagram. Our handle is at Arcade of Thrones. Or you can find us on Facebook as well, which is Facebook, Arcade of Thrones. Or you can pop in and check us out at 399 Hubert Street. We're there as well. So we're minutes from downtown. I definitely say, hey, check in on the IG first to see if something going on that night you might want to rock with. If you ain't in the smash, don't come in on a Monday. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel left out. So just keep in tune with what we got on those social media platforms, and you'll see the good stuff that we got.
All right, where can the people find you?
IG Carterboy 2521.
Kia, the unseeable guest in the back, where can people find you?
Kia the Great, just Google it. The Great. DAGREAT.
And if you want to find the podcast for more stuff, we find the 2.5 LLCs podcast on all podcasting platforms. 2-1/2 LLCS podcast on Instagram. 212 LLCS pod 212 LLCs pod, and on YouTube same way, just 2-1/2 LLCs podcast. And we appreciate you all in the morning, noon, and night, whenever listening and hearing this. And if you want to find me, RETROD.R.E on Instagram, Retro Dre on all streaming platforms as well. If you want to find me with music, YouTube, and other things, same at. With that being said, the episode of the 2.5 LLCs podcast is finished for this one. And until next time, we hope you become greater. We'll see y'all. Peace.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Season 4.